Punishments for Real Madrid players. Kylian Mbappe, Antonio Rudiger and Dani Ceballos have all been fined. Rudiger and Mbappe are on probation, so if they commit another disciplinary offence, they'll face suspension. Vinny Jr. was not sanctioned. UEFA didn't open disciplinary proceedings into what he did. All players available to play against Arsenal. This was, of course, their actions after the game against Atletico in the last 16. This does mean that they will be available, as stated there, for that Champions League clash with Arsenal. Mark Ogden, are you surprised to see this?
Pick me up off the floor, Kay. You know, that Real Madrid have got their players available for a big game. It would have been a massive call by UEFA to suspend Mbappe, Rudiger, and Vinny Jr. for a game in the Champions League. So I'm not surprised. It's a bit of a sop, isn't it? I don't think it. I think Real Madrid will be laughing about this, thinking they've got away with it. The fines are nothing, the suspended sentences are nothing. Because if they transgress again next season, it'll be an early game of the season. It won't really matter. So I'm not surprised. Arsenal might be angry, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Madrid intend to appeal, obviously, these punishments.
All right.
Ian, what did you make of it?
I'm worried.
I'm with Mark on that. I mean, it's hardly a sensation. Real Madrid star players can play in the Champions League against Arsenal. So no surprise. It's cosmetic, isn't it? The fines, they won't even notice them probably.
OK, let's talk about how it would affect the game.
Can I just say, just for a second, a £30,000 fine for Kylian Mbappe, honestly, it's like me going to the grocery store. Are you kidding me?
Ali, don't say that. We don't know he's going to end up finish the month. If he can survive, what he can eat. We have to be worried.
I think he'll have enough to pay the power bill and the cable. He'll be fine.
Well, did there have to be seen to be doing something after these actions in the Champions League? Do you think it's a case of that?
What do you mean?
The UEFA with their punishments, with these fines and the probation period for the one-game ban for the likes of Mbappe and Rudiger.
Okay, they were never, ever gonna keep Mbappe from playing and Vinny from playing and Rudiger from playing in this advanced stage of the competition. Now, again, this £30,000 fine it's symbolic and nothing else. Now, it comes out in the news cycle. We talk about it. Real Madrid at some point will, as you say, really, is that necessary? And UEFA may come back and say, never mind. Let's move on with our lives. And everybody saves face. Come on now. If I'm thinking back to sort of the antics after that game, and I'm seeing Vinny Jr. jumping around, I'm confused as to why he's not sanctioned. And not that I have anything against Vinny, but if we're going to sanction everybody, then he was right in the middle of the mix as well.
Yeah, they decided not to open up the disciplinary proceedings in Vinicius Jr.'s case.
All right.
As for the Arsenal side of things, Frank, we know they will be without Gabriel. Mikel Arteta has said they can cope. Do you think that they will be able to cope for the rest of the season?
They can cope, for sure. They can work together, but we have to accept the fact that Gabriel was a huge asset to the Gunners' defense, and with Saliba, the two centre backs were absolutely outstanding, and not having Gabriel is kind of a blow. And they can cope, of course. Football is football, and nobody is irreplaceable. But Gabriel has been absolutely fantastic the whole season, and that's going to be hard to replace him and to find somebody capable of doing the job that he used to do.
How do you see this game and this tie going, Mark?
Well, I think that Real were the favourites before, the situation with the suspensions, the non-suspensions. But it's a Gabriel injury. I think that takes it away from Arsenal completely. Because I think Gabriel and Saliba are such a unit. I think maybe Ben White might come in at centre-half, but I just think Arsenal need all their players at their best. I mean, obviously they haven't got a striker either, so I just think it's going to be really hard for Arsenal over two legs. They could win at the Emirates next week and take a lead to Madrid, but I just think second leg at the Bernabeu, I think it all favours Madrid. They're just too strong, they're too experienced, and I do think as well that Arsenal's lack of experience at this level, at this stage of the competition, will count against them against a team like Real Madrid.
Now, Ian, you know them well. You commentate on them for La Liga for us here on ESPN.
And Copa del Rey as well this week.
Copa del Rey,
yes.
all of it.
Yeah.
Ian has been all over Real Madrid. They are not looking their best, it's fair to say, Ian. How do you see this game going?
Frankly, they were absolutely shocking the other night against Real Sociedad. They were very lucky to get through to the final. A 4-4 draw, and they were facing one of the weakest attacks in the whole of La Liga. I think the two teams scored fewer goals than Real Sociedad. They were shambles at the back. Okay, Rudiger wasn't there for most of the game. He came on and got the winning goal, as it turned out, and they'll probably have a stronger defensive lineup against Arsenal. But it's an Arsenal attack with Bukayo Saka back involved. Marino's been this makeshift centre forward. He's actually scored 5 goals in 8 games since they gave him that role, and one for his country, by the way, as well. So, yeah, Real Madrid are huge favourites, but if they defend it like they have done quite a few times this season, I think they've gone behind or trailed at some point in the game in their last 4 matches now. So I don't think it's quite the formality that a lot of people might think, but I do think Real, like Mark says, probably in the second leg, whatever happens in London, they'll probably get it done there, because that Arsenal defence without Gabriel, that is a huge blow, however they try to mend it.
So Ian's got Real Madrid going through. The tie, who goes through?
I'm going to say Real Madrid, but all I would say about this club right now is that nothing, absolutely nothing is easy for Real Madrid right now. Everything is a struggle. It's defensively having issues. Obviously, when you score 4 goals, you probably would think that it's enough to win the game. Not right now for Real Madrid, it isn't. And it's not just a Real Sociedad match. If you go back in time and you start evaluating their performances, everything is such hard work for them. Nothing has come easy, and this won't be easy either. It'll be a struggle, but in the end, Real Madrid will do just enough.
Do you agree, Frank?
I have to agree, because their recent history in the Champions League showed that even if they were bad, and we are talking about remember the season when they won the Champions League against Liverpool, the past tie that they had against Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester City, where they were absolutely shocking, they went through. They always go through. That's what it is. And so you have to say they're going to go through, even if you think that Arsenal might get that surprise that we think it's possible for them. You have to predict that Real Madrid will go through, because it's what happens every time. And therefore, I'm going to go there and then keep on doing that like everybody will, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it sounded to me as well, Mark, that you were saying it will be Real Madrid. Can we just confirm that?
Yeah, Real Madrid all day long, absolutely.
April will give football fans for quarter-final matchups to look forward to, including Real Madrid versus Arsenal. This is expected to be a good pair of Champions League fixtures. The first leg will be at the Emirates. Realistically, either side could progress to the next round. They are one of the 2 remaining Premier League and La Liga teams in the competition. Both will be looking to show their quality on Europe's biggest stage. The round of 16 for the Gunners was assured after a 7-1 away victory against PSV Eindhoven in the first leg. During the league phase, Arsenal finished 3rd with 19 points and only 1 loss. Hosting the first leg, the Emirates will host the upcoming quarter-final fixture on April 8th. The Spaniards' journey to this stage of the tournament has been less straightforward. Atletico Madrid took their Spanish capital rivals to penalties, but Carlo Ancelotti was left standing after the shootout. They finished 11th with 3 losses and 15 points before the knockout phase started. Declan Rice will be an important player for Arsenal. The midfielder will need to be at his best and win back possession to find his teammates further up the pitch for the EPL side to make it to the semi-finals. Bukayo Saka is expected to return after a long absence due to injury. Martin Odegaard must also unlock the opposition defence through his playmaking abilities. To counter Rice, Jude Bellingham must patrol the midfield against his countrymen. Either Kylian Mbappé or Vini Jr. must have good games for Madrid. At this point, they each have 7 goals in Champions League play, but they will need to build on that if they're going to advance. These sides have only met once before. During the 2006 Champions League round of 16, Arsenal won 1-0 on aggregate. The lone Thierry Henry goal at the Bernabeu proved enough as the second leg resulted in a 0-0 draw at the Emirates. There is a reason why this matchup is so intriguing. Many favour Ancelotti ensuring safe passage with this group. Arteta's team, however, is good enough to play spoiler. The winner of Real Madrid versus Arsenal over the two legs could easily win it all in 2025. Antonio Rudiger and Kylian Mbappe are both free to face Arsenal in Tuesday's Champions League quarter-final first leg after avoiding an immediate suspension. UEFA opened an investigation into Real Madrid celebrations after the last 16 triumph over Atletico Madrid, with Rudiger and Mbappe under scrutiny alongside Vinicius Jr. and Dani Ceballos for a series of gestures. Most of Madrid's concern revolved around Rudiger, who was seen running his thumb across his throat towards the crowd. There were significant fears that he would be handed a suspension and ruled out of the Arsenal clash. While UEFA have issued both Rudiger and Mbappe with one-game bans, they will not be enforced immediately and will instead be subject to a one-year probation, meaning the pair are both free to face Arsenal on Tuesday. Rudiger has been issued a fine of 40,000, while Mbappe will pay 30,000 for his own gesture. Ceballos has avoided any sort of ban and has simply been issued a 20,000 suspension, while no further action was taken against Vinicius. The news comes as a significant boost for manager Carlo Ancelotti, for whom Rudiger, Vinicius and Mbappe are all near-permanent starters. Ceballos was also a regular feature in the Madrid lineup but is currently sidelined with a muscle injury. Real Madrid head coach Carlo Ancelotti is expecting to have Thibaut Courtois available for Tuesday's Champions League quarter-final first leg against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Courtois has missed Real Madrid's last 3 matches, including Saturday's La Liga clash against Valencia, with the muscular problem that he suffered while on international duty with Belgium. Fran Gonzalez made his Los Blancos debut against Valencia, featuring between the sticks due to a minor calf problem for Andriy Lunin, who was named on the bench at Bernabeu. However, Ancelotti has eased the concern surrounding both Courtois and Lunin ahead of the trip to Arsenal, with the club's number 1 and number 2 goalkeepers both expected to be available for selection. Courtois trained today and has had good feelings. Tomorrow he will be with us. We have not risked with Lunin because of this situation of Courtois. I think that by Tuesday we have the option that we can both recover, Ancelotti told reporters.